As your documents begin to contain more and more layers, sometimes those file sizes will grow to be quite large. So people are always looking for a way to reduce file size. But unfortunately, the different ways that Photoshop has to merge layers or flatten images also remove some of the flexibility. But we should take a look at them anyway so that you can decide for yourself. Now down at the bottom lower left, if I click on the triangle here in the status window, I can see the document sizes. And you'll notice that there's two. The document size on the left is the flattened version, and on the right is the layered document. So when I save this, it's going to be somewhere between the two, but we can really see how much data all these extra layers are costing us. So we could try cropping any extra data to keep the file size down. So there's information that's going beyond this canvas area, right? For example, in this greens layer, there's information that's beyond the canvas. So I could do a quick select all and then choose image and then crop, and that would crop any extra information. And in fact, we went down from 70 megs to 63, but that's a permanent change. So if I did want to reposition that greens layer again, I wouldn't have that information after saving the file. All right, let's deselect. I'll use Command D or Control D to deselect, or you could use the select menu and just choose deselect. So another way that we can get the file size down is we could delete any of our unused layers. So if we look at the layers panel and I scroll down, we're using the greens layer, but we're not using this grapes layer. So if I knew that I didn't want to use it in the future, I could go ahead and just drag that to the trash in order to delete it. Now I'm going to undo that using Command Z or Control Z just to show you that you can also just select it and tap the delete key in order to delete a layer. And again, we've gone down in size. Now we're at 52.9 megs, so we've decreased it quite a bit. The next thing we could try would be to merge layers, but if you merge layers, I just think you should pay attention to merging ones that maybe don't overlap, because if two layers do overlap and you merge them together, that's going to be a permanent change. So for example, with the small photos, I could select all four of them in my layers panel. I'll select one, hold down the Shift key, and then select the other four. And then from the layers menu, I can choose to merge layers. But two things happen. One, they're all merged to the same layer. So if I were to select the Move tool and I wanted to move the strawberries independently from the other layers, well, I can't. They're all going to move as one unit. So I would actually need to go ahead and separate that, maybe jump it to its own layer and reposition it, or at least select it if I wanted it to move independently. The other thing that you might notice is that all of those frames were discarded. So if I didn't want these to be circles anymore, but I wanted them to be squares again, well, that information has been thrown away. So I would be paying a price for merging those layers. Then the other thing we can do is we could flatten the file, but flattening layers is very destructive and it's always permanent. So I rarely do that as well. Just to show you from the layers panel, I'll go ahead and choose Flatten Image. And when I do that, sure enough, everything now is on one layer. If I wanted to reposition the logo, for example, I couldn't do that because it's been merged together with the background. So I'll go ahead and undo that so that we have all of our layers here. And honestly, I'm going to close this file without saving any changes because I don't want to discard that other information. So I'll choose File and then Close and Don't Save. So there you have it. To maintain the most flexible workflow, I'd recommend that you don't merge or flatten your layers just in case you want to make changes to your document in the future.